started, broadcast going, preview event, and we're going to be live in 3, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of DiabloCast, your Diablo 3 podcast. Here, as always, we keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of Diablo 3. As always, I'm your host, Dennis Force Duhamel, and with me, as always, we have got Kevin Sixen Carlino. How are you doing today, Kevin?
What's going on, everybody? I'm doing my best to stay alive.
You're doing your best to stay alive. There's just a whole lot of stuff going on in Diablo 3 discussion, and I know, Kevin, you kind of had a rough night, not much sleep, so we'll do what we can to truck on through this, huh? All right, so major topics.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Already I failed. I was muted. Oopsies.
Major topics for today are going to be the recent resource page update, the Activision Blizzard webcast that took place late this week, so I believe that was on Thursday, something like that, and the recently leaked beta footage and screenshots, the addition of the beta feedback and bug report forums to the community site, and then lastly, the start of the Friends and Family beta sometime very soon it seems. All right, so why don't we go ahead and go into our first topic, which is going to be the resource page update. All right, so recently there was an update on the official community site, the resource page, and basically what they did, we already knew what the resources were going to be, but it was very nice of Blizzard to be able to give us some sort of visuals to this, and with it, they also gave a little bit of a description about the varying resources and what they do for each of the classes and everything like that. So we already knew what everything was, the Barbarian having Fury, the Demon Hunter being the split resource between Hatred and Discipline, the Monk with Spirit, and there's a little bit of debate as to the actual visuals behind that Spirit Ball, but we don't need to go into that. And there's the Witch Doctor with the oh so common mana, and then lastly the Wizard using Arcane Power. So Sixen, what do you think about the recent update to the official page? I mean, I thought this was kind of neat for them to throw it out there, even though it was well-known information.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of happy about it. Other than the fact that, yes, it's well-known information. At first, we weren't really going to cover it on DiabloFans, but I mean, I got to thinking, and with the new community site, it brought a lot of players that hadn't really been following the Diablo 3 development much. So I mean, a lot of World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2, even any other gamer players, because they see, hey, wow, Diablo 3 just got a brand new website. Some stuff must be going on. Let me check it out. So people that haven't really been following, they can kind of get to know a little bit of the game itself. Because, I mean, last week we talked about, well, you know, the new forums just opened up and there are people that don't really know what they're talking about and asking questions that we asked 2 years ago. Well, I mean, I feel like if Blizzard does a series of blogs like this, maybe over each game system or something along those lines, I think it'd really help the community as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely the big thing to keep in mind, and certainly with the addition of the new community site, bringing in a lot of StarCraft and World of Warcraft players, you know, fans of other of the Blizzard franchises, drawing attention to Diablo, there's going to be a lot of the stuff that us hardcore followers have known for a while that the newer people to the community may not know. And this is a perfect example, the resource systems and how they work for each of the classes, how it's going to change how the class functions and plays. And then this, in addition to any of the other kind of what we would consider basic information, is what we can expect from Blizzard between now through the beta and up until the actual release of the game. Just kind of slowly filling in all of the various information. Now, something I do want to bring up as well, Kevin, because I know you had made some mention in the community forums, was discussion about the Demon Hunter resource specifically. Do you want to go into some detail and let people know kind of maybe what your issues are with the Demon Hunter resource and what you were maybe hoping to have changed?
Well, I mean, basically, I kind of see the Demon Hunter resource. I mean, I like the resource itself. I think it functions pretty cool. It's kind of just exactly what we assumed it was going to be, or something along those lines. I mean, my problem, I guess, was specifically with the colors that they chose to use, which is kind of nitpicking, I guess. But at this point, when we don't have the beta, it's easier for me to kind of sit down and look at everything that
we need something to talk about, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's easier for me to sit here and look at a screenshot and say, okay, let me look around the screen and start nitpicking at what I like and don't like, as opposed to click, 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 click. Oh crap, this spell looks awesome. Do I have enough resource? And look back at the screen. You know, because I mean, for the most part, you're not going to be sitting there staring at the resource, right?
Right.
So I mean, I was saying that I don't really feel like red and blue really represent hatred and discipline. And I guess separately, red for hatred and blue for discipline would I suppose make sense. You know, red anger, mad, furious, whatever. It makes sense.
And then
Hatred,
blue is kind of the calm and
right?
soothing. Yeah.
Tranquil kind of a thing, which makes sense. But when you put the two of them together, I don't feel like they differ enough to make sense because the demon hunter as a class is supposed to be that this person is having this inner battle between two different sides of themselves within their own body and mind, which seems pretty cool. But I don't know, I don't feel like red and blue represents that pretty well, you know.
Mm.
So I had proposed making potentially black and white, and with black and white, it kind of really shows that yin yang kind of a style to the class, which I feel really fits well. And some people are going to say, well, Sixen, white's already being used for the spirit, for the monk.
It's kind
How
of
can
like
we
an
do that?
eggshell white and an off white, to be honest. Let's
Yeah, that's true.
We could
Well, I
go
mean,
straight up white.
I'm assuming that they would use that color white, and and similarly, like a shinier black, but whatever. I mean, I guess, and what I had said was okay. If that's the case, we could use yellow or green for the monk, because spirit, you think of something that's holy, and apparently, and this I had actually didn't know this before posting. I had just thrown green out there because it wasn't one of the one colors that were used.
Mm.
Apparently, green is like the holy color for Islam's or something along those lines. And if I'm
Huh.
wrong, feel free to correct me. I really don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Just basing something off a quick Google search.
Mm.
So and that even fits really well. But the problem is that I guess green doesn't really fit with the whole Diablo style. But then again, technically, why would purple fit with the whole Diablo style? They added some black and whatever orbs inside of the wizards to make it look pretty sweet, and people are like, wow, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could alternatively do the same thing with green or even a yellowish color. I mean, there's a bunch of different things they could do here, but my I don't really want to call it a problem or concern. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna not buy the game. I'm not gonna be pissed off. I mean, I'm not gonna rage. It's just I think it would look cooler and make more sense if it was black and white instead of red and blue, or something along those lines where it actually showed that whole demon hunter persona.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting perspective on it, and you're certainly entitled to your own thoughts and opinions on the matter. And we're gonna go back to the fact that what you initially stated, that we are just nitpicking certain things here and there just because the beta hasn't started yet. But hopefully, once it gets up, we could care less about the colors of any of this crap. So that's more or less the thought process there.
True.
And actually,
Let's
you got a
start
little bit of
playing.
a response from Bashiok in that post, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, it was Bashiok and Zarim, and Zarim, like, I mean, I'm pretty friendly with him. I like the guy. So he's just kind of like messing with me throughout the thread. Like he's like, okay, so what do you think after me saying all of this, Sixen? Do you think we should delay the beta just so we could change the colors of the resource system? And I was like,
Obviously.
wow. Well, what I had said was no, but you should I go big, so I'm expecting a full blown, delay the release of the game in order to change these colors.
That's really, really funny. Clearly a joke, but really, really
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, pretty cool that they updated the resource page, and we did just want to touch on that for those who weren't aware of the fact that did take place. Now, next up on the discussion board is going to be the Activision Blizzard webcast. This was, I think it was actually total to be a little bit over 4 hours, wasn't it?
I think it was a little under actually.
Oh, was
I think
it?
it started at like 9:30, ended at like 12:30.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, but
like
still,
an
I
hour
mean, it was definitely a big chunk of time, and a majority of the discussion was just going over, a lot of the financials and future projected income and what people can expect. All of the investors realize this is directed towards the investors and the analysts as well, people who are looking at Blizzard as the company and looking at the fiscal portion of everything that's going on and their decisions and upcoming plans and all of that, and realize it's not just really Blizzard anymore, it's also Activision Blizzard. But the good thing is that during this event, there was also discussion about Diablo 3. They went into some pretty good discussion, basically talking about the history of Diablo within BattleNet. They also made some mention of the auction house. Now, I know, Kevin, you listened to the entire thing, correct?
Yeah.
What?
It was a long
What's
3
that
hours.
for?
It was a long 3 hours. The first 2 hours was Call of Duty,
Yeah.
which I guess I didn't really mind. I mean, I play Call of Duty here and there. It's kind of fun, but 2 hours about the financials of Call of Duty will really,
It'll
wear and
bore
tear,
someone
man.
to
Wear and
tears, that's
tear.
for sure.
But yeah, about halfway through, Mike Morheim came on, started talking about the auction house and whatnot. Basically, him and Rob Pardo gave the same presentation that they gave us or that Rob gave us at the press event. So really nothing new. We already knew all that. It was the same exact slideshow. So all of you that weren't there, I saw Force posted up a video on it, so you guys can check out that slideshow if you're curious.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, I managed to hop into the conference call right when they started really going through the slideshow and discussing, Diablo and its BattleNet history. So again, if that's something you haven't seen, I did post up 2 videos, one about Diablo and BattleNet 2.0, and then the second video was about the auction house, and this is where Rob Pardo explained Blizzard's plans for the auction house and how it's going to help their investors and stuff. So, I mean, if that's something that you're interested in, I certainly suggest having a listen to it. And as Kevin said, they didn't really mention anything new and groundbreaking. We did get continued confirmation that the beta is still planned for September, and we're actually going to go into further detail about that and how close it really is later in the podcast. And in addition to that, I realized, Kevin, that they made some mention about expansions. You want to go ahead and fill people in about that?
Yeah, so, right. I mean, after Rob Pardo gave his presentation, he handed it off to the COO and CFO of Activision Blizzard, and I'm sitting here thinking, why am I still listening to this podcast, or this podcast webcast? I mean, Blizzard's done, I should probably just take off. And for some reason, my gut just told me to stick with it, and I have no idea why. Oh, he was actually talking about their project slate or whatever for the next couple of years and their financials, and they had said that Blizzard has, StarCraft 2 and 2 expansions, and 2 more World of Warcraft expansions, and their unannounced MMO, which is Titan. However, they also said that they have Diablo 3 and a Diablo 3 expansion coming within the next 3 years. So, I mean, we've got a confirmation on a Diablo 3 expansion as well as a potential release date. I mean, 3 years, so 2014 at the very latest. I'm okay with that. I don't mind playing Diablo 3 Classic for a couple of years. I mean, Diablo 2 lasted for a decade. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, obviously people, even though the game is not out yet, people are looking forward to expansions. I'm looking forward to expansions. Right. I mean, it's going to be cool because I'm almost expecting it's going to be a guarantee that there will be additional classes, at least one more act, and then additional feature sets as well, whatever that may pertain to.
The talisman? The talisman.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, they removed charms and they removed the talisman through iteration and development, but they also stated that they plan on having that return. So be it a major patch or during one of these projected expansions, that's the kind of thing that we can look forward to. So, I mean, the big thing is, not to take away from the release of the game that's not even out yet, but expansions just means more Diablo, so it's not, it's obviously more exciting because of that. So yeah, again, if you missed the webcast, there is a post up on DiabloFans, as well as the 2 videos posted here on the YouTube page, and that's going to cover most of anything that you'd be interested in. Everything else, the additional almost 4 hours, was really just financial stuff. If you missed it, well, sorry. There's always the investor conference call quarterly, which will be coming up sometime soon as well. That's going to be within the next month or so?
I think it's actually next month. I think it's November 3rd was what they had planned for.
Yeah.
That's 2 months.
So about a month away, there's going to be another investor conference call. So if that's what you would like to listen to, it's not that far off. All right. So next up in discussion, we're going to be talking about the recently leaked beta footage. I keep saying linked. The recently leaked beta footage and screenshots, and this is incredibly recent. This happened within the past 24 hours. So there were screenshots and a little bit of gameplay footage. Now, there's a little bit, there's been a little bit of discussion all over the boards and stuff. People wondering, okay, well, where's this from? Is it legitimate? Kevin, you want to throw some insight into this here?
From what I understand, it's the leak came from an ex-Blizzard employee who was still flagged to the beta because he actually worked at Blizzard. And we know that the internal beta has been going on for a while. So no, as of right now, 12:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the beta has not started. The Friends and Family Alpha has not started in North America, as far as I'm aware. Okay, so as of right now, the beta has still not begun. The leak from last night or yesterday, whenever it was posted, was an actual leak from somebody that used to work at Blizzard. It wasn't Friends and Family Alpha. It wasn't any of that stuff. Again, the beta hasn't started yet.
Yep, and that's it. That's That's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
The official beta hasn't started, and we're going to be talking in the next topic or two about the friends and family and kind of the plans for that. But this is, leaked beta footage, but it's from, as far as we know, a tester who no longer works for the company, who decided to kind of throw some of this stuff up. And we've done coverage on it, and it's pretty much out there. Just some basic stuff, nothing new really. I would say that the biggest really cool thing that I thought was awesome personally was the downloader, the beta downloader. That's something that we haven't seen, but
Yeah,
also,
actually,
I mean, come on, Force Strategy is right there under community news. How
Yeah.
how much more badass does it get?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty sweet. I mean, I'm really digging the launcher. I think it looks really nice, and I'm glad that they're gonna have a community feed there. That just means that the official fan sites are gonna get some extra, extra traffic boost just because of that. I mean, anybody that launches the game is going to see any community posts. That's pretty sweet. I'm liking it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's funny because I first saw the link to this leak on Reddit, and I was immediately like, nice Photoshop, because I saw Force Strategy there. I'm like, there's no way in hell like that's not the official launcher. And then it was proven that it was. I was like, okay, all right, I take it back. It's pretty darn awesome, I'd have to say. But yeah, besides that, there were just there was also the character selection screen, which is something that actually you and I, Kevin, have seen before when we tested the beta, and that's pretty neat. And actually, here we can mention this as well. With that, there was the little leaked footage that we saw from last week of the skill animations, and that's part of the character selection screen. So now we know where that's from, right?
Yep, and that also explains why there was no sound or no audio in those videos, and that's because either A, there really just is no audio in those videos, or B, they just programmatically add the sound to the video in the game.
Right.
So once you get in the game says, okay, this person just clicked on this class, play this sound in this video at the same time.
Yeah, that makes
Possible.
sense.
Not probable, but it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's nice to actually now know, because I still had my fingers crossed to see something on the community page, some sort of an update for something. But this is looking to be where it's actually from. So it's good to actually now that we're aware of that. Absolutely good news. All right, so next up is going to be the recent addition of the beta feedback and bug report forums on the community page. This was added within within the past 48 hours, right, Kevin? This is pretty new stuff.
Yeah, the bug report forum, I want to say like 2 days ago or possibly 3 days ago, was wiped clean, and they made it so that way you needed a Diablo 3 beta license in order to post there. And then just yesterday evening, night kind of a time, they went ahead and added a beta feedback forum.
Mm-hmm.
Which also requires beta license. And basically, this is so that way the World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2 players can continue to post and give their feedback and whatever, speculation, whatnot, in the general gameplay forums. And then it also creates some sub-forums for players that are actually in the beta to actually give feedback and discuss stuff with each other.
Yep. Yeah. And again, this is on the official community page, and as Kevin said, it was actually added, and everything took place within the past 2 or 3 days. And this is exciting because these things being implemented into the community page means that we're drawing ever nearer to the beta. That, in addition to the recent leaks and everything else that's going on, and with that, we're going to kind of segue into what's more or less our major topic, and that's going to be the friends and family beta. Now, we just kind of want to talk about what this is, what it means, what stage we're at, and everything like that. As Kevin mentioned prior, it hasn't started yet. We are not currently in the friends and family beta, but it looks like they have recently decided that this is going to be something that we'll be doing before we actually go to the press, the official closed beta. And so this will be taking place sometime soon, Kevin. That's what it's looking like, right?
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, it could be as early as today. Supposedly, there are some other regions, Korea and Russia. The Friends and Family Alpha has already started there. So, I mean, I don't know. This has just been a very big, confusing mess, chaos. This is like, I don't even know. This is just, like, between last night and this morning, man, it's been crazy.
Well, I know you're having a hard time with this, just because. I mean, we're just waiting to kind of see what the deal is, what's happening, and in one of the in one on the community page in the general discussion forums, there was a topic asking about the Friends and Family beta and whether or not it had started, given the recent links and discussion that was also taking place on the Russian community site. And then we got a response from Bashiok in which he stated that they're going to be inviting for Friends and Family before they begin the closed beta, but they haven't started inviting yet. And once they do, they're going to be letting everyone know. I don't know if it's just going to be a thread or if there's going to be a post on the front page of the community forums. And then, Bashiok gave a little shout out to Sixen there as well. So.
Well, okay. In the beginning of the thread, because for all last night and early this morning, I'd been saying, there is no Friends and Family Alpha, there is no Friends and Family Beta. That's not what they're doing. They've done away with it for these two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to talk to him this morning, and he tells me apparently we got to change plans. And now I feel like an idiot because I posted all of the forums for hours telling people that this is not happening. So he comes on here and says G6, and whoever gave you that info sounds like a real dope. You should probably just ask me from now on. Like,
yeah.
Just making, it's a joke.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty funny joke. But I mean, certainly in your defense, this is up until today, Friends and Family was excluded, and this is a very recent turn of events for Blizzard themselves. This was a very recent decision, right?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, because I mean, last I was aware they were not doing a Friends and Family alpha beta. So I mean, I could be completely wrong, but last I was told that was not true, or they were not doing it, and this was a last minute kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming it's because like maybe the build is unstable, or I mean, I guess we don't really know.
Yeah.
But Friends and Family won't have an NDA, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and like I'm nervous at the same time. I just really want to get the beta started and start working on content and stuff, and really being in limbo is one of the hardest places to be. I mean, Kevin is sleep deprived. We're gonna be sitting at our computers all weekend just waiting for stuff to happen. Although I don't expect it to start on the weekend. I mean, if it starts, it should be starting today, or we can expect it on Tuesday.
Monday?
Does that seem reasonable?
What's wrong with Monday?
Well, isn't Monday a holiday?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Monday is a holiday, Kevin. There you go. Welcome to America.
I have school on Tuesday. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, I mean, if it's not today, then we're probably likely to be seeing something Tuesday. And then again, keep in mind, this is the Friends and Family. We don't know how long it's going to run before I guess we'll call it the official beta starts, so that not just the Friends and Family, but the press sites and everything else. But I expect it to be shortly thereafter. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that the Friends and Family beta starts today or Tuesday. Then maybe we'll be seeing the press and the open, not open beta, but the closed beta that they'll be
Public
giving
beta?
away keys for will be maybe late next week or the week after. So it seems like a reasonable assumption, I'd have to say.
I would assume so. I mean, they did say the beta was going to start in September.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't see the Friends and Family alpha beta lasting all that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're going to have to just wait and see.
As always, just going to have to wait and see. All right, so so that's it for major topics, and the next thing we're going to be going into is discussion of this week's poll, and also taking some of those user questions. We love to field questions from you guys in the community, but let's first start with the poll of the week. Now, first I'm going to wrap up last week's poll. Last week, we asked you guys what your favorite part of the Diablo franchise was, why you liked it so much. Now, it was relatively tied up about, it's same as the week prior, actually. Things have been more or less even, but first place coming out with 25% of the vote is Must Get More Loot, so bright, so beautiful. So, just loving the game for the loot. I mean, that's one of the driving forces, obviously, behind the game.
You said Force.
What? Did I?
You said Force.
I did. That's one of the driving forces behind the game. Second place is with 22% is the mood, story, and overall setting is spot on. So just enjoying the ambiance in the Diablo universe. And then right behind that with 19%, we had the slaughter of hordes of monsters satisfies my bloodlust. So overall, I mean, we could probably just have lumped this all into one big thing and just said Diablo-esque. That's what we love about it. The constant clicking, picking up loot, and destroying things, getting carpal tunnel, all of those wonderful things. That's just goes with being a fan of Diablo. All right, so that was last week's poll, and Kevin, why don't you go ahead and give them this week's poll?
So after Blizzard kind of, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say pumped blog cherry, but maybe that's inappropriate.
That's weird.
Guess it's too late now, right?
Yeah.
So after they went ahead and posted on their on the community forums or the community site, previously we really hadn't had like an actual blog post. We had the Diablo alerts thing, but as of this post, we've got a legitimate informational post, and of course I'm talking about the resource one that I believe Zarim made. So coinciding with this week's poll, we're going to go ahead and we want to know, what is your favorite resource? Do you enjoy the Barbarian's Fury? Do you like the Monk's Spirit, the Witch Doctor's Mana, the Demon Hunter's Hatred and Discipline, or which class am I missing? Dennis?
I'm not gonna bail you out on this one. I don't even. We've got
horrible.
The what?
I just drew a blank. Barbarian, Monk, Demon Hunter. Oh, Wizard. Wizard's arcane power. I'm sorry.
What a fool, Kevin. What a fool. You know how badly the masses are going to troll you now for that, right?
I don't know. Dude, I do something wrong every podcast, so it's not like it really matters. IRC time.
Kind of used to it by now. All right, so if you want to go ahead and vote for this week's poll, all you need to do is head on over to DiabloFans.com, log into your account, and you'll be able to vote for this week's poll. And then lastly, as always, we're going to be wrapping things up with some of the community questions. You can ask those questions on my Facebook fan page, on the Diablo Fans Facebook fan page, or on any of our Twitters. Basically, we just try to pull some questions from you guys in the community. Now, the first one I'm going to be taking here is from Stuart. And Stuart asks, so I'm in Walmart, and I notice they still sell StarCraft 1, but where's Diablo 1? And that's actually a pretty interesting question, and he's also wondering why can't you purchase it via digital copy as well. So, Kevin, do you know much about this? Because that's something that I've wondered for quite a while. Why is Diablo 1 not available? I mean, not too long ago, I actually repurchased Diablo 2 because I didn't have it on my current Battle.net account, and I had lost the CD itself. So I went and repurchased Diablo 2, and I was like, oh, I'll get Diablo 1 as well. That'd be a lot of fun to play, but it was nowhere to be found. So you got any idea what the deal is, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, you really just have to hope that you can go ahead and get it off of like one of those kind of old games racks kind of a thing where they're selling them for like $1 or $2, you know?
Yeah.
And they're just it's just like a whole rack of like games full, and in order to find it, you got to sort through 500 different games. But I mean, and the game, keep in mind, the game's 15 years old at this point. I mean, StarCraft 1 is only 10 years old, although I guess that's still pretty ridiculous. But you also have to keep in mind that Diablo 1 came out, and then there was Diablo 2, which also had an expansion pack. StarCraft, for up until, what is it, a year? No, yeah, just about a year.
Mm-hmm.
A little more than a year and a half. Up until the last 2 years, StarCraft 1, it was all that there was. So there was no sequel. It was just StarCraft 1 and Brood War, which makes sense. Now, as far as why you can't purchase it in as a digital download, this is just because Diablo 1 didn't have a CD key.
Right. Right.
So there's no way to actually add it to your account. Something that I had suggested in the past was basically do the same thing that you do for Brood War. If you add a StarCraft 1 CD key to your Battle.net account, they assume that you have Brood War, so they just give you StarCraft and Brood War, a combination of the two games. So what they could do for Diablo 1 is, if they see you have Diablo 2 and Lord of Destruction, they could assume you have the Battle Chest and just give you Diablo 1 for free as well. I thought it'd be a decent idea.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad idea, and I mean, I don't see why not, especially since, you know, it's not like, I mean, they're not selling it anyways, right? I mean, it's not even available for digital download, so.
Yeah, Diablo 1 is just, unless you find it in a store, there's just, you're out of luck.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, again, we don't really have an answer for the question, unfortunately, in terms of why it's not there, other than the fact that there's that lack of CD key. And I don't know if this is ever going to be resolved. Maybe they're just past the point of caring. I mean,
well, I mean, Blizzard had, when I went to the press interviews, BlizzCon 2010,
yeah.
And I believe I ask this every single time I get a chance to. I went ahead and asked what the deal was with Battle.net 1 games on Battle.net 2.0, because as far as we knew, the plan was to port all the games to Battle.net 2.0, you know, to have everything on this new service and make it an entire Battle.net as opposed to just future games. And every time they always get the same answer. It's on our list of things to do, and I mean, it's down there, but it's on there. And I specifically asked, what about Diablo 1 and Warcraft 2? Because currently Warcraft 2, you can't buy as a digital download, and you can't add it onto your account either, even though it has a CD key, which is kind of surprising. So, and what they had told me was, yep, I mean, even Diablo 1 and Warcraft 2, every single game Battle.net 1 supported should be available eventually on Battle.net 2.0. So, I mean, fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, maybe we'll see it at some point in the future. Who knows? Who knows, really? All right, so next question is coming from Marcel. Marcel asks, Blizzard said that they may be changing how runes work, and that they don't know, and that the whole idea of the randomization behind the runes, and you won't know what it is until you place it in the skill. And he's asking if they're planning on keeping it that way, or will they leave it like it was in the first place, in which you knew what a Crimson rune would do to this skill, and you knew what an Indigo rune would do to that skill, and all of that. I'm not certain that we have gotten any more information about that. I haven't seen anything anywhere.
Yeah, we haven't heard any more other than what we heard from the original press event information that Jay had given us. Basically, just that they were tossing the idea around, but they hadn't added it in just yet. And at this point, we're not going to even see it in the beta, just because runes don't start dropping until Act 2 anyway. So we're really not going to know unless Bashiok or one of the other community managers give us a heads up or some other kind of information about it until the game is released.
Yeah, because again, the beta is only looking to be a portion of Act 1, and as Kevin said, runes aren't supposed to be dropping until Act 2. I would be interested to see if they had them just drop for the beta, just for the sake of testing them around, even though in the actual game it wouldn't drop until Act 2. I mean,
I suppose it's possible.
Yeah, I mean,
just for testing, I don't see why not.
I would prefer that were the case, because I do want to be able to play around with the runes and see the varying effects of the spells and all that. But maybe it's that's not something that they're worried about testing. That they're pretty comfortable with the way it's working right now. Whatever iteration they decided to stick with, whatever version of that they decided to stick with, and they don't really even bother to care to have us test it out. So. All right, so next question coming from, I believe it's Diego, asking if there's a way to send an item to a friend in game, be it like a mailbox or something, other than using the auction house or dropping the item so a friend can pick them up. Well, in terms of getting items to friends, I know that you can drop and pick up, but we're expecting a trading system as well, like interface, aren't we, Kevin? Or are we not?
I'm sorry. Wait, I missed that. I was also reading a question. I'm sorry.
No problem. We're just wondering about a trade interface in game, so you can give an item to a friend. We're expecting just a standard like click and drag kind of thing, right? Yeah,
just like Diablo 2 worked. I mean, we haven't actually seen it, but they told us that there's going to be a peer-to-peer trading system, just like there was in Diablo 2. Cool. So I mean, I'm assuming they're going to make it, a little bit shinier, a little bit cooler. But for the functionality-wise, it's going to be, you click the item in your inventory or potentially shared stash if they want to add that functionality, because that'd be awesome. Hint, hint. Mm-hmm. So, maybe just drop that in there, 2 checks, and then boom, you traded.
Yeah. And did you have any questions that you wanted to get answered from your list there? Or?
I was just going through one. I was chuckling at one of them, asking if from Kieran, if I was giving early beta access on the condition I had to do it, but only sit it in my boxers, would I do it? And I almost want to say,
and what's the answer?
I'm wearing right now.
Yeah. That's too funny.
It's like 125 in Arizona. How am I not going to sit here with clothes?
Yeah. Oh, what a creeper, Kevin. All right, well, that's pretty much going to do it for this week's DiabloCast. So, as always, we thank you guys so much for watching. Please do let us know what you guys think about these special live DiabloCasts. It's something that we just recently started doing. The great thing about this is that it all gets saved and then updated onto YouTube within about an hour or so after we finish. So even if you miss it, you'll be able to catch it. Even if you're just coming in the later end, you'll be able to catch it later in the evening. And I kind of like that we mess up every now and then. It makes us look human. We're not just talking robots inside of YouTube. So
I guess that's true. Now people can see how much we really do screw up. Although I am glad that we started off doing them recording, because way back in the day, what is it, a couple months ago? That's back in the day for us. Yeah, I know. Like we cut every once in a while, or every couple minutes, and just screw up. But I mean, we're pretty fluid right now. I mean, I think we got a nice little system going. We got it worked down to a science.
Yeah, sure thing. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening, as always. This has been Dennis. So for Kevin, we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
That was another botched close. But it's okay.
It's no big deal. Yeah, I don't see any. We just literally got done saying how it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, Friends and Family Alpha or Beta.
This is goofy, dude.
When are you coming?
This is ridiculous. Somebody just posted on my forum, Sixen, you lied to us. Korea said it started. Well, so I just replied, North America is not Korea.
Right. If Korea said it, it must be true.